It is Aaron Sands, and welcome to King Talk Season 3. Let's get smarter.
Previously on King Talk.
It's a certain issue, or a certain, I would say, a beef with you and another cast member.
Wait.
And one of the biggest things with that is basically, you know, people as friends, people have beef. You know what I'm saying? You're cool with people. Next thing you know, you have beef with somebody. You know, and then you have some issues, but you usually resolve it. One person I'm talking about in particular is Roddy, the star Roddy Rod, and you know there was a bit of contention before the initial first meeting of Premiere Boyz Podcast. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick to see where you was at with it. And if there's room for reconciliation. You care to jump into that?
It's funny, this is probably the first time I actually spoke about this topic. So so the whole thing with Roddy, he did something that, you know, kind of, I guess you could say, not even kind of, that did lose my trust. You know, he told a personal business of mine that was something. One of the things that I'm going through, he told it to other people, and apparently it went back to me. And honestly, I'm not gonna hold you, but I found out that I was really hurt. Not only because somebody told my business, because of a friend who I call my brother told my business, and that was a slap in the face, you know. Because if you're a real friend, you wouldn't tell somebody business, not let alone throw dirt on my name, let alone throw dirt on my brand name, you know. And you own that brand, so honestly, I felt hurt behind it, you know. And honestly, it just lost my trust for him as a person, and honestly, by saying that, it's just messed up, you know, because he was one of my brothers I knew for 18 years, and I ain't gonna hold your hurt, son, and yeah, I mean, honestly, if me and I have to work together again, I mean, it's gonna take a long time to rebuild that friendship, son. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna take a long time to build that friendship, and yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else I can say about it. Just yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a while, man.
All right. One last question before we get into King Talk news. If I wasn't sitting here, right, and say this is Roddy on the other end, and you had one thing to say to this man, right, before the meeting shut down, what would that be?
Why would you do that? You know, why would you do that? You know, basically why? You know,
Why Triple H? Why?
Basically why? And do you even feel fucked up that you did that? You know, you know, are you really sorry for what you did? What is you telling? You know, my business worth it to losing a long friendship? You know.
Okay, like I always feel like this. At the end of the day, I'll give my take on it before we get into King Talk news.
Yeah.
I feel like during the course of our friendships, whether it's you and me and Germs, shout out to Germs.
Yeah, shout out to Germs.
Me and Roddy, you and Roddy, you know, you and Alvin, no matter who it was, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, one of my biggest things, right, is that we're adult enough to have the conversation, whether it be face to face, over the phone, you know, in person. You know, that's one of my biggest it's one of my biggest key points. Is to have the conversation. You know, we talking about building and building with other people, collabing. It was, in this conversation, we talked a lot about collabing and everything like that. And one of the biggest collaborations we ever did was with each other for this podcast. And I feel that even though the issues that we have may be big or small, at the end of the day, the friendship is what kept us at number one. The friendship is what brought us together for a podcast of this type of magnitude. I wish nothing for success for all of my teammates, all of my friends. But yeah, if there's issues, the best thing you can do, and I'm saying this to my viewers as well, the best thing you can do is take that time and reach out and call. Everybody has a phone in their hand, but nobody wants to reach out and call and talk about the things that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Talk about those issues that really matter, because if it didn't matter, you know, people wouldn't be feeling away. You know what I'm saying? So being the fact that you feel away, this shit matters. And if it matters enough to get fixed, then fucking fix it. You know? Because it's really important. It's really important, especially for a friendship that's long as this one. You don't want to let that just die. So yeah, Roddy, if you out there, if you're listening, probably listening, you're avid listener to the show, avid fan of the show, reach out, talk about it. Let's talk about it. If you want to come on here as a guest and talk about it, hey, listen, the door is open. King Talk. Yeah, that's me. What up? It's your man's Aaron Sands. We are back with another one. You already know what it is. If it's Fridays, then it's King Talk. Thank you for tuning in to the number one entertainment podcast on Good Pods, indie and regular. King Talk. It's your man's Aaron Sands, and I hope you had a great week. You could be anywhere else in the world right now, listening to anything else in the world right now, but you are here listening to this podcast, and all I can say is thank you. The response I've gotten, especially after this past week's episode, Drink Champs or Think Champs, has been a big deal, and I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate the support so much so starting next week on King Talk, I'm going to be shouting out all any new followers that jump in, and a few of the old ones as well. We haven't forgot y'all, but you know what I'm saying, like, we're gonna start shouting you out on every episode going forward. All new followers, I want to definitely I want to thank y'all for the support. I definitely appreciate it. Without y'all, I wouldn't even be doing this right now. So you already know what it is. We got Roddy. I got Roddy currently in waiting right now. He's gonna be jumping in with us in a little bit to talk about all of these issues going on right now. Also, the situation going on with the Brotherhood crossover comments that Ken made. He's gonna speak on that. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of different things. But first, we're gonna get into the whole situation with Kanye, bro, losing most of his sponsorships. And it's been a wild situation. It's been pretty crazy. So basically, over the course of our last recording and now, Kanye West has lost, or Ye, as I said, lost a lot of support, you know, from the people that he does business with. Adidas, Gap, Balenciaga, CAA, Vogue, MRC, Def Jam, you know, Drink Champs, because Drink Champs took down that episode. I had to go find the other one, you know, and so many others lost their, you know, they backed out. I was gonna say lost, they didn't lose anything, but they kind of backed out in doing business with him because of the comments he made on Drink Champs. Now, do I agree with everybody falling back? No, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people didn't fall back None of these guys fell back when he said slavery was a choice. In fact, he got more deals. He got the Balenciaga deal. He got the Gap deal after, I believe, the whole, slavery was a choice thing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that comes down to preference of what people want to be disgraced about. You know what I'm saying? People were upset with slavery was a choice, right? But companies wasn't, However, companies are now upset talking about when he's talking about DEFCON 3. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know DEFCON 3, if you look up DEFCON 3, that's basically a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about DEFCON 4 and 5, oh yeah, we go on full offense. You know what I'm saying? But DEFCON 3 is nothing more than a defense mechanism. That's kind of the whole thing where things get misconstrued. So for me personally, I don't think it was anything crazy, but I will say this: when you do speak about certain issues while doing business with certain companies, you will kind of, for the most part, you're gonna end up, ruffling a lot of feathers, and they could be definitely some real powerful feathers. You understand? So that's one of the biggest things that I have to that people that's getting into the industry and everything, that's what they got to understand. That's a big deal. So that's going to be the lesson. When you do business, you got to understand who you're doing business with. You got to understand the terms and conditions, because as easy as you got on is just as easy as you can get off. And nobody likes to fall off. Kanye just fell off the Forbes billionaire list. And even though he's making money that we honestly probably will never see, for him to fall off on that aspect is a pretty big deal, considering that, you was already like at the $1 billion mark. You was already flexing on your competitors. Now you're at a point where like, all right, this is a big fucking drop. You understand? So honestly, it's kind of like the same thing with YouTube creators. When you think about it, when you work on YouTube, when you work for YouTube, let's be real, you're not doing like independent work or anything. You're not building your own app where you could put your stuff out. You're working for another company. You're really working for Alphabet, who owns YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Who owns Google, who then owns YouTube. So, a little backstory on that. When you're on YouTube, you got to follow a set of terms and conditions, right? You got to follow those conditions. Those conditions have to be met. They cannot be crossed, because if you cross them, they could terminate your channel. That's the same thing with these companies. If you step to them incorrectly, they can terminate their partnership. And that's exactly what happened. Do I think he's going to recover from this? Yeah. I think so. I mean, granted, Adidas owns Yeezy designs for the Yeezy shoes, so they can still keep pumping out Yeezys, but sneakerheads, at least in this sense, sneakerheads also know that the value for those Yeezys is going to drop considerably, considering that he's not behind the project. And that's really what's the mystique behind these shoes altogether. Same thing with Jordans. You understand? So do I think he's going to pull through? Yeah. But do I think that he's going to, still be on that same page where where his comments are going to put him in a place where he's going to suffer more losses? Yes. Because unlike us, when you're talking about the Jewish community, they, one, stick together. Two, they pretty much sign the checks of your favorite entertainers, influencers. They represent them as agents, Typically, that's who's running those companies. The agents that represent them. The community, that the Jewish community signs those checks as a whole, and people could get offended by that, but that's the facts. And if we work past those facts, we have a better understanding where we are. So hopefully it works out. Things are in a good space. He gets his money, you know what I'm saying? Like he continues hopefully to get more money and everything like that. Because right now it is not looking good. I'm not going to say he fell off. I'm not going to tell him to pack it up. But it's on life support right now. You know what I'm saying? And got to figure it out. And if you I always say this, if you're able to make $1 billion and then lose it or lose a portion of it, I feel like you're able to have the smarts to get it back again. You understand? Because if you got it the first time, right, you can get it again. Now, will it be harder? Maybe, maybe not, depending on the type of person you are, how much capital you got to make the next move. But I will say this. If you got it before, if you didn't get it before, you can get it again. But it definitely depends on your work ethic. And that's even for regular dudes. You know what I'm saying? You come across some money, but you didn't spend it right, you know, and then now you got to go get it back. Depending on your drive and how you hustle and everything, you could get it back. But that then comes down to you. So that's a big thing, you know? So hopefully he pulls through and we'll see what happens next. Because you already know, we going to talk about it. So I'll definitely keep you posted on everything that's going on with that. It's definitely a hot button issue. I ain't afraid to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it.
This is the star Roddy Rod, and you are now listening to King.
Now we're going to get into story time with Aaron Sands. So if you've been living under a rock, this is kind of somewhat old news, so I'm not really going to get too deep into it, but it's going to go into what we're about to get into. If you've been living under a rock, the Migos broke up, right? You know, Offset, Quavo, Takeoff. Apparently there's been rumors around where Offset was, you know, smashing Sweetie and Quavo didn't like it. So, you know what I'm saying? He spoke about it in that Messy song where he was talking about people, you know, not being true and everything like that. People being disloyal. Well, it's one way dudes could be disloyal when, you know, they mess around and smash their friend's girl. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Are they going to get back? Well, you know, once again on Drink Champs, Quavo and Offset, Quavo and Takeoff, was talking about, yeah, they'll get back 4 verses if the check right. And I'm like, hey, anybody would do some shit for some money. You feel me? Like that's the overarching, you know, arc, you know, where people would do things for other people. People will create world peace if it benefits them. You know what I'm saying? If it benefits them making money. People will start war if it benefits them making money. So it's not that far from the imagination for people to do things for money, even bring back friendships. And that's the thing. Friendships with people are a tricky business. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I was just talking about this with my lady. Like we ladies, they kind of beef different than dudes. You know what I'm saying? Dudes, you know, they have disagreements. They go out, they shoot their shit, you know, they get into fist fights and everything like that, but then they patch it up. Ladies is a little different, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all might have a bad time on vacation and, you know, somebody ain't paid the bill, somebody was out being a thot, you know what I'm saying? Like, all types of things. But y'all come back and y'all will not like each other for whatever reason it was, you understand? So that's a whole thing. My next guest actually is kind of going through this. Shout out to the bro Ken the Gentleman. You know, on his on our podcast Brotherhood Crossover, we talked about this for a little bit, and he brought up my next guest in the conversation to, you know, about his disagreements with him. You know what I'm saying? Now, it ain't as major as somebody smashing a chick, but you know, when you have real friends, you're gonna have real disagreements. But we gotta be real and talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna talk about it. Hopefully, we can patch it up, see what's good. But right now, he's been on the show before. My next guest coming up right now, the star, y'all here on Premiere Boyz Podcast, doing this thing, out here getting it. He's been out here on different podcasts, jumping around and giving his opinions on different issues. And it's going to be the same thing here. It's going to get fired. It's going to get crazy. Here's my guy, the star, Roddy Rod. You are up.
Hey, man, what's going on, fam? I'm here. What's good?
What's going on, bro? How we living?
I'm all right. I'm just chilling.
All right, that's great. That's great news. I'm glad to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all hear me clear?
Yeah. You good. I can definitely hear you clear. You sounding great per usual. You already know what it is. So we got you here. We're gonna talk about a bunch of topics. We're definitely gonna get into those comments. But before that, I want to get your thoughts on the whole Ye and Adidas situation, him losing all those sponsorships. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, Kanye took a big blow, my boy. Well, Ye, as he want to pronounce himself, took a big blow. Like left and right, all his sponsors was dropping him. And all because of this whole Jew and his anti-Semitic comments he had on Drink Champs, which also caused a lawsuit with him for the George Floyd as well for the Drink Champs, and they're trying to go after Drink Champs as well and sue them. The episode taken down, like, is a lot, man. I tell you, it's been a crazy past few days. Like, all I've been seeing is Ye news pop up all on my screen, man, and it's like you can tell like how the Jewish community is so strong, and how they without them, we're at the bottom of the barrel, you know. So like they're at the higher up, so they basically run things. Without them, there'll be no structure to us. They provide the services, we just do. They sign the checks, we just do. They're our lawyers, they're accountants, they're everything. Like, you know, it's crazy. He made a lot. He made a lot of people. He got a lot of people up in arms over that one comment and lost a lot of his money. Like, he's really a millionaire status now, man, and that's sad to see. Like, him go from a billionaire to a millionaire.
I'm gonna stop you right there. We're gonna peel this back real quick because you did say a lot. You did make a lot of points, and I wanna like dive back into. I want to dive deep into that. So you said earlier that like the Jewish community runs, like everything runs through them. You know what I'm saying? I would have to disagree with you that to an extent, and then here's why. As a community, African Americans, we have the most buying power out of any community, right?
Got that right.
Also, we pretty much create the culture. You understand? Everything we do, you know what I'm saying, people tend to copy of. You see ladies getting, you know, going out and getting BBLs, getting ass and everything. Next thing you know, you see Becky at Walmart with a BBL that don't match her legs. Or for instance, you see the new dances on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? New dances on TikTok be out. And basically, next thing you know, you see these kids, these lighter skinned kids doing it. You know what I'm saying? Thinking they created when we created that. So yeah, they do. To be fair, I will agree with you. Jewish community, for the most part, do own the businesses that the celebrities and the influencers either work for or represented by. However, we create the actual culture that runs this whole entertainment situation.
And I understand that portion. I understand what you mean with that, because like you go watch a lot of these white movies, guess what, and cartoons, guess what songs are playing? Our songs.
Mm-hmm. Like you see a lot of the songs now, right? Like you don't have to get over on radio to actually get on. People are getting on actually. People are getting on just off TikTok. Erica Banks, people know Erica Banks just because she came out with a song that goes great with people's TikToks.
That is entirely true, but that is a different conversation about music. That because it's like you could dive real deep into that because it's true though. But
yeah, but you think about it like this too. Even though Erica Banks is making the songs that that is hitting, that's populating TikTok, the label that she owns to, the label that she signed to, is owned by a bigger label, is owned by an even bigger label, who is owned by a CEO that's part of this machine.
That is entirely true.
So yeah, they do run the businesses, but I'm not gonna sit there and have you say that, and then not. But I'm not gonna sit there and have you say that while I know for a fact that we run the culture and we have the power to spend.
Well, let me clear something up.
Yeah.
But they're at the top of the thing, as in the food chain, is what I really mean, because they're the CEOs. They're not in the face, but because of course we're more of the face, but we report to them, and we work through them, but they are in charge of the company and the head of the company.
And to be fair, that's true. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's a fun tidbit too. They ended up, who was it? I want to say they. I'll say it then. I think the Spotify president ended up getting, was in the beginning reached out to by some of these companies wanting Spotify to take down his songs.
Oh,
like take down his catalog off Spotify. The Spotify president said no, and he said that because he never said any anti-Semitic, remarks in his music. So when you look, say for instance, like you think about the Joe Rogan podcast, talking about COVID, and he made those remarks about COVID, and then Spotify felt like he was spreading false information on a podcast that Spotify was putting on their platform. So when it came down to that, they had to get him up out of there for a little bit until he had to take a few steps back and retrace his remarks. So when it comes down to that, I feel like as long as it doesn't directly affect their company, Spotify, you'll still be able to hear Graduation on Spotify. And I think that's a big step because granted, even though, he said some things on another platform, his music has nothing to do with those remarks. Because if you
know something as well.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But somebody's gonna fine tooth his music and see if he ever said it in songs on his albums, even album cuts, because that's what people do. They will look for any reason to bring up Ye, and we're gonna see in the next few weeks if somebody said, "Oh, he said this on his album Yeezus. Oh, he said this on a guest verse." So there are going to be people who's going to look for something and anything to mesh that on.
And that's a definite fact because that's what people, in a sense, that's what people do. Like when there's blood, there's sharks. I always say, especially when you look at certainly like situations like this. When there's blood, there's sharks. When you have a situation where people are feeling outraged, they're going to pull through every little thing you've produced with a fine-tooth comb. And if you find out, like, if they find something that's really disagreeable, that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, they have to figure, like, that's going to be a big situation where he's going to have to, like, they're going to have to go through his songs to see what's up. Especially people that don't mess with him, they're going to go through his songs to see what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Imagine listening to Imagine listening to his least like albums and doing that. Damn.
Well, I guess if there's any album that I would think that's going to be kind of like on that type of point, is probably going to be Yeezus.
I believe you too. I was going to say Yeezus.
I was going to be Yeezus. It ain't like you're going to find something anti-Semitic in college dropout.
Definitely not.
You ain't gonna find nothing crazy in 808s and Heartbreak. You feel me? Like,
no, that's far from anything. Yeah,
but I can see people making that reach for it to be like, oh, well, you said this on Blame Game, and people don't like that.
Or even The Life of Pablo. I remember listening to it, but I didn't even like listen to all the songs real good. Like that was like a 50-50 album for me. So they'll probably go back and fine tooth all those songs.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what you expect, especially when you're in a cancel situation. They did the same thing to Dave Chappelle, so it wouldn't be as far fetched. You know what I'm saying? But
countless of other people throughout the years. But yeah.
Do you think he's going to come back from this, though?
Yes, I think he's going to come back. He's like a genius. Yeah, he's a genius, so he will find a way. It may take time, but I think the fire will die down for like a few weeks, and then he'll just be back at it, you know? Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Like, this right now has the attention of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even want to stay on this topic for so long because, you know, like we talked about this last week. I mean, granted, this is breaking news, but this was last week's issue. You know what I'm saying? However, there hasn't really been, I don't know what it is, where there's nobody else is nobody else is really doing nothing crazy. And they were like, okay, we're just going to keep pointing out yay shit. But that's what's really going on. So when it comes down to it, it's, you know, now when the spotlight's on you, you have to sit there and be like, okay, you know, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's a big deal. So we're going to veer off this real quick and we're going to get into the nitty gritty. All right.
Oh, true.
So before we get into that, right? You got any is there any upcoming projects you want to discuss while we're here before we get into the big shit?
I have nothing at the moment. I'm open for podcast collaborations if anybody's willing to reach out to me on the store Roddy Rod on IG. But I have nothing at the moment.
That's right, bro. Plug your shit. Stop playing games. You know what I'm saying? Get up out here. Stop playing games, bro. Get on this podcast shit. All right, so we're gonna get into it, right? So, y'all ready? As you may have heard on the previous on King Talk a couple episodes ago, we had Ken the Gentleman as a guest, and he was talking about a lot regarding Premiere Boyz Podcast. You and his relationship, things of that nature. I want to get your thoughts on the episode, and I want to see where you agree or disagree at. Because I'm be honest with you, this is our first time really speaking on this issue at this level. So I really want to get a firm understanding of what your thoughts is and where you at mentally in this situation.
I'm basically ready to really make amends because, you know, I admit, you know, I do some very outlandish things. I say things that I don't necessarily mean, and I do gossip at times. And I know that the things I was saying, I was just running my mouth, and you know, I was just talking out the side of my mouth. I didn't really think about what I was saying, and you know, it's been very difficult because, like, you know, I'm used to like chatting with Ken the gentleman, if not every day, every other day. And to have that taken away is just like a major difference, you know? So it's like, I do want to slowly get back to where I've been. Like, don't get me wrong, I am still a fan of Mr. Gentleman lifestyle. But I didn't, when I was saying what I said, I didn't think outside the box. Like, right now, I'm going out my way to meet a lot of people, and I see that, you know, they're doing the entrepreneur thing and they're finding their lane. And I guess I got to think outside my box, the box that, you know, that's basically the way of life and the way he wants to go, and that's just what it is, you know. Got to be behind it and be all in.
No, I understand that. I'll be honest with you. Like, sometimes in life, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times in life, I'll be honest, people don't see themselves outside themselves. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
A lot of people don't. They'll do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the doing, or they'll do things and they'll say things to people, and it'll get to the point where, you know, you'll hurt them. But the thing is, you don't realize that you hurt them because we're really we're just thinking about ourselves. We're just thinking about how can I put this? We're thinking about how we feel in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So when you're thinking about how you feel in the moment, what happens is you'll see somebody being upset with you. You see somebody be mad with you, and you're like, oh my God, this person is mad at me. Oh no, you're not seeing. And a lot of times people don't see the why. You know, they don't look at the bigger picture, and that could raise a lot of problems. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I ain't gonna lie, I had a lot of friction with a lot of people over the past maybe 4 to 5 years, and most of it came to response to speech to what I've said. And in the heat of the moment, I don't really think, oh, I just said something and a repercussion. I would just see the person react.
And that's the big thing. Like, we see people react, and then we go into defense mode, and we're like, oh, you know, I gotta defend myself, you know, in these situations. You know what I'm saying? I gotta protect myself, you know?
Of course.
And honestly, that's like I get it. That's the first rule of life. Excuse me. That's the first rule of life. You gotta protect yourself. But at the same time, people gotta be more empathetic, and people gotta be more empathetic to what people are going through. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people are going through. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing. Now, I guess this is kind of like the $1 million question of this whole thing, of this whole situation. Do you feel that you owe Ken the Gentleman that conversation, live and in person?
Yes, I do. I have sent him a text message back in August, but I have not heard from him ever since.
Damn, that's breaking news. That's crazy. I feel like, I'm gonna be honest with you, especially what we got going on, you know, with the pod, with Premiere Boyz and everything like that, which I'm going to get into in a minute. I feel like more importantly than that, we're more brothers than anything. Honestly, we're more brothers than anything. So I feel like when I was saying on the podcast last week, we gotta have that whole, you know what I'm saying? we got to be able to have that conversation. You know, when we beef, we have issues or whatever, we have issues. People have issues all the time, but it's in the conversation where you'll find that reasoning and that understanding. You know, people want to search for understanding, but they don't want to do the work to obtain that. You understand?
Yes, I understand that.
So what we got to do as people, and this will help build us to be in greater heights, honestly, is that we got to sit down and take the time to understand the people that we're cool with. We got to understand the people that we hurt, and we got to understand the people that we work with. You know what I'm saying? Because if we understand the people that we work with, Kanye would not be in this Ye probably not be in this whole situation. If we understand the people that we love, then, you know, there'll be a lot less family issues in our community. And if we understand the people that, you know, we are cool with, I think not only, you know, you and Ken will have that stronger relationship, but also, you know what I'm saying, that'll also help the group as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
So, like I said before, you know, we can have a conversation on here. If you want to do that private, that's cool too. But at the end of the day, if the bros could come together and understand, if the Migos could come back together and understand, come together to an understanding that is bros before O's, you feel me? Then we might see a Migos reunion also if the money is right. So that's a big thing. One more thing before I get you up out of here. I'm definitely going to do a lightning round. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to have a lightning round. I got 3 topics. I want your thoughts on these 3 topics before we get up out of here. And go. So, do you think the friend zone exists?
Yes, I do. Friend zone exists, definitely. Female could keep you friends for a very long time and not even date you. And I've seen that happen.
What do you think about the current state of politics?
Everything is fast, everything is messy, and with the time that we live in, with the technology growing and everything emerging so fast, it's just very, very crazy out there. More crazy than it was back in the days, in the 90s and the 2000s.
All right. Ariel from The Little Mermaid or Jasmine from Aladdin?
Jasmine from Aladdin.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. She was thick as shit, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
There's this girl on IG. She always dressed up her Halloween costume as Jasmine from Aladdin, man. Sorry, the girl's a baddie already, but sorry, she could be a real life Jasmine in a live play. The way she dressed up.
She on OnlyFans?
Not on OnlyFans, IG, bro. I'll tell you her name off screen.
Whoa! All right. Who has it easier, men or women?
Women.
Okay.
Especially if they're a bad chick, they have it more easier because me and you have seen, bro, being a party promoter over the years, we've seen girls walk out the house with $10 and get dudes to buy them drinks all night.
Oh, that's a whole fact. That is a whole fact. $5 because that's coat check.
Yeah, but you have to get the train back too, right?
Oh yeah, unless you get a dude to ride, get a dude to get in, give you a ride and everything. That's a whole different thing. You can even get a ride back. You know what I'm saying? So listen, it ain't that far fetched. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, this is the last one. If Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump were both drowning, and you could only save one, who would it be?
I can't stand Donnie Trump, so it has to be Kim Kardashian.
and the way it's going, you save her life, she might let you clap it up. So I understand. Definitely understand it. All right, so that's all we got for right now. Roddy, drop your social media info real quick. Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me at the Star Roddy Rod on Instagram. I ain't gonna tell y'all how to spell the Star, but Roddy Rod is RODDYROD.
All right, bro. Thank you for coming on. Definitely gonna
Hold
have
up.
you back. What's up?
We never talked about PvP.
Oh, good question. What is going with everything that's going on with you guys? What do you think is where do you think the future lies for PvP?
I gotta give you this 100% honesty. So, we just gotta. I want to do a season 3, but I feel like we can't go into it the same way we did in season 2 and season 1. If you don't prepare, you're planning to fail. So what I just want us to do better. Like metrics. We want to hold ourselves to metrics, and we want to hold ourselves to seeing if we could consistently bring good content. Maybe put some hold each 4 of us to some metrics for this next season. Because if we don't, you already know we might not have a 4th season, bro.
Come on, people don't want to hear that we ain't got no 4th season, bro. Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand what you're talking about. And honestly, right now, maybe they might be able to take a page, you know what I'm saying, out of from my playbook for King Talk. You know what I'm saying? We out here every week, every Friday. No excuses. We out here doing the work and getting it done. Which brings me to my next question. When your podcast coming out?
Right now, I don't even know. Right now, my executive producer and me are not in good space, and I feel like I gotta freaking also work on my personal life, because when you get on the air, if you're not in good spirits, well, we know that. You already know that from doing music and everything. You have to be in a good mindset, in a good space to record. So, me, myself, I gotta handle some things on the back end so I could bring the best version of me and the best energy to the podcast when the time comes.
And then I get it. I mean, there's days where, there's days where I don't feel up to, getting on the mic and putting together the content for people to enjoy. But I still put it out in a sense because of the fact that people do enjoy it, And I don't do it, like, for me personally, I don't do it just for me. I do it for them. You know what I'm saying? Because
no, I mean, honestly, it's just like when your work, you're presenting your work, so you have to, you have to give your best. You're performing. But when I listen to you, I don't hear emotion or if you had a bad day or nothing in your voice and your demeanor.
And that's the thing too. Like, granted, I always say, one thing I always say is this: you may lose your job, your girl might leave you. You know what I'm saying? Your dog might die. You feel me? Like, a lot of things of that nature might definitely be happening with you. But when you're, like, for me personally, and I learned this as I was getting ready to get into it with the 3rd season, especially, like, this is the type of situation that could take my mind off, like, all that shit. For even if it's for like just the hour that I'm recording, like, it'll take my mind off all of that. So honestly, like, I want to redefine, recording to be not only a safe space for people to come on and talk their shit, but also, for people to like really relax and let that hair down. You know, you understand? You know, that's what.
Yeah, but it also depends on the type of person you are as well. Because I know that it's hard for me to hide emotions. Like, if I'm just not, and that's just the type of person I am. So, if I'm not feeling that, I'm just not going to be talkative.
Spoken like a true Sagittarius.
I'm dead.
Roddy, it's been definitely a pleasure having you by. We're gonna bring you on back before the season is over. We got a lot of season left, so you'll definitely be pulling up and chopping it up with us here on King Talk. But I thank you for pulling up, and we'll be right back with closing thoughts, shout outs, and yeah, that's it.
All right, man.
All right, we'll be back.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Aaron Sands, and I know you're enjoying this episode of King Talk right now, but I want to dive in a little bit and talk about the Premiere Boyz Podcast. You got me, Aaron Sands, Ken the Gentleman, the homie Roddy Rod, and long live the Chief Mally Mal, all in the building, talking about the hottest entertainment topics, the hottest news topics, and giving our own take on what's going on out here in these streets. It can get raunchy. It could get crazy. You might even be talking about somebody's mama. Who knows? But every Wednesday at midnight, check us out on Apple, Good Pods. Don't forget to drop that 5-star rating and all wherever else you hear your podcast. Now back to the show, man.
I want to take the time to thank Roddy Rod, the star, for coming out here and chopping it up, bringing that real to King Talk this episode this evening. Really appreciate it. I also want to give a special shout out to the fine folks over at Drunken Idiots Podcast. I was over there rocking out with them on Friday for a short time, but it was for a very good time. I definitely appreciate, all you guys do over there. Definitely looking to pull back up there sometime soon, Let's hook it up. Let's see what's good. If you're looking for me, on social media, you already know you can find me at Aaron Sands Premiere on Instagram. Link is in the description. Also, King Talk Sands on on Twitter and Good Pods. You already know. If this video was a W or a L, let me know in the comments down below or hit my IG. Also, like the podcast. We are already at number 1 for Indian entertainment news. We've been number 1 for Indian entertainment news for about 2 weeks now, aiming for a third. We're gonna keep running it up. Also, we're actually charted on other charts as well, but I have to pull that up. I don't have it in front of me. We'll talk about that next week if I'm still there. So we'll see. Other than that, that's it. Check me out next week for some King Talk, some good conversation, good vibes, good comedy stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be chopping up. We're gonna have a good time as we do every single week. But I thank you guys for tuning in, and you already know if it's Fridays, it's King Talk. Thanks for stopping by. See you next week.
This is the star Roddy Rod, and you are now listening to King Talk.